So, Kenny, I gotta ask.
Uh-oh.
There was a burn barrel.
The burn barrel. How old's that nut roll?
Are these sleds becoming so hard to find that we are running out of these sleds? In my contact, in my phone as Kenny T-Cat.
I just like the Thundercats. The sound, the power, the looks, everything.
How many Thundercats would you say you have owned?
You know, Rocky, through all these weeks, I knew this question would come up.
Perfect.
1:30 in the morning, I roll over and my phone's just obliterated.
Where were they located?
1 hour south of me.
Oh, my.
So he buys the time capsule. 2 weeks from today, where are we at with all of it?
People get mad at me. They start talking crap on me, and I do it right back, fire back, and then it snowballs downhill from there. I was texting a guy this morning right around 6:30 our time, and yes, the burn barrel was brought up. We went back, and I started drinking some more, and I'm like, let's make this interesting. I will, for the record, say I did not light the flame. You know, I do have a set of green pans, and I did say I'd throw a set of green pans, 99 plus green pans in a burn barrel, and I still want to do it. Another thing people don't realize is I don't care. I'll burn it. I don't care. All right, everybody hear me?
We got you loud and clear, Kenny.
All right.
I like it.
Testing.
I got you.
Good.
Yeah,
I can sit back.
This is perfect.
Yes. Everyone hear me?
I hear you.
Cool.
Okay. Well, welcome back to Old School Arctic Cats podcast. We have a couple guests here with us today. My name is Rocky, the host. Co-host over here is cameraman Quinn. We got cameraman Quinn's dad, Don Fuller, and we have the legendary Kenny Neff with us. Woo!
I don't know about that part, but I'm here.
Wait. There we go. There we go. Well, welcome to the show, guys. First shout out we want to do is for Fire Puffs.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is actually Rocky's dad's company, and he's been so kind and allowed us to actually stock his product on our website.
Yeah, Fire Puffs have existed for quite a while. My dad's been doing this for 15 years almost, and Fire Puffs was invented because of snowmobiling and hunting and different things. We just wanted something that was usable, low odor. This literally has zero odor, but we wanted to have a kindling, if you will, or a tinder that would light easy, and we wanted to integrate these Boy Scout strikers, these flint and steel strikers. So my dad was able to get these. These are windproof, waterproof. These things can hold up to extreme weather and inclement weather. This wind that we were just experiencing on our ride, if you needed to get a fire going because you got trapped in the backcountry, you would want some Fire Puffs with us. So, yeah, it's a great product. You guys got to check it out on our website.
I think I gotta light one up.
That'd be fun.
Don wants me to build a fire on the table.
But do it outside in the wind. Let's see how really good they are.
We can get into that. But it's he's got 3 products. So we have, this is the complete fire starter kit. This is has a hard case. It's durable. You can throw it in the trunk of your snowmobile. It can go in a lot of people wear backpacks. You can throw it in your backpack, or they have a lot of those storage bags on the back of your tonneau. You can throw it in there. These things can bang around. Things can hit them. They're durable and ready for you when you need them. So this is a great one. This one's more for if you're not wanting to pack heavy. Let's say you're just wanting to go for a hike in the backcountry,
Throw it in your sock even.
Throw it in your sock. You can throw it in your little coat pocket, but this is the mini kit. This also comes with the striker and 3 puffs. This has a striker plus 9 puffs with it. And then for the everyday camper that maybe they just want an easy way to light a fire, he's got the mega pack right here. So this, no striker comes with it, but it has 25 fire puffs in it, and it's just for refilling your kit if you wanted to, or keep it in your camper, or keep it in your truck or whatever, and you'll be ready to build a fire when you need one.
Perfect. Well, we want
to understand something here. You said put that in your sock, so does that mean you got to light it up and then put it in this?
I think you have a story about that.
I was gonna say, I think Don's already experienced something here.
Well, we want to send Kenny home with one and my dad. So
Yep.
these guys, this is yours.
Thank you. That's nice.
I already opened yours, Kenny, but there you go, brother.
We had
Perfect.
to test it out, you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you
Don't
bet.
put it in
Thank
your
you,
sock
guys.
after you light it.
No.
No, that's not a good idea.
No, this is awesome.
Thank you.
You bet, for sure.
You had a childhood friend that did something similar to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have Kenny here. Kenny, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us everybody has a story, and I always hit that on some of our videos. Everyone has a story on how they got involved and started with snowmobiling. Whether it was this year or 30 years ago, everyone has a story. So Kenny, kind of get into that maybe a little bit with us, and kind of go from there, and kind of tell us what you're up to now and everything like that.
Well, I was a kid. It all started when I was a kid, very young. I think it was a memory has to go back, but I believe it was a Yamaha 340 something that I rode. And then I went up to the TNT 440.
Cool.
Rode that for a while. Then we started getting into newer stuff. So I went through some of the, early stages, older stuff, like everybody did.
Sure.
Then we got into Skidoo. I was riding summits. And we rode every day, every single day.
Who would you ride with? Did you have buddies? Did you have who was your riding guys? Yeah.
Weekdays was all my friends, and then weekends was my old man.
Cool.
So I 6-7 days every single winter.
Perfect. That's awesome.
It was. I knew everything, everywhere to ride around here. More or less from Salt Lake south.
Okay. Is that where you grew up, was Salt Lake?
It is. Born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised in Salt Lake. As a little kid, I lived out in Sacramento for a couple of years, but I was little, and then since then here.
Cool.
So I didn't.
So eventually you, I have you as in my contact in my phone as Kenny T-Cat. I have you as Kenny T-Cat. That's how I know Kenny.
Every time he refers to you, he's like, Kenny T-Cat. And then I started calling, I hope this is an appropriate nickname. I always called you Neff or Cat. Kenny Neff.
It is what it is.
Can never get enough T-Cat with Kenny.
So late 90s, I got into parting sleds out, and I don't know exactly the year, but it just started doing that, and since then I just kind of found a niche with the Thundercats.
In the 90s, you said.
Started the late 90s, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I parted everything out, across the board. There's not a sled I didn't touch.
Oh yeah.
The Thundercats, though, I just found that niche and met so many people. I, started out on eBay, obviously, and then moved over into Facebook and eBay, but Thundercats is where I love it. I don't know why. I just have that love for the Thundercat. I'm not big into the mountain cats. I do part a lot of them out. I just like the Thundercats. The sound, the power, the looks, everything.
I agree. I argue all the time with people. I mean, there is nothing more old school than a triple, and there is nothing more iconic than the Thundercat. I mean, when Arctic Cat came out with that, they could have stopped with a ZRT. They could have stopped with an 800. No, that wasn't Arctic Cat style back then.
Right.
No, we're gonna have a 900. Okay, everyone's cat, we're going to make sure we're on top. We're going to come out with the 1000, and it's going to be legendary. And it is. And I caught that same bug, Kenny. I can totally understand with that, and a lot of people relate. That Facebook group, Arctic Cat, Thundercat, and ZRT riders. I see a lot of you posting stuff on that and keeping all of our sleds rolling, but that's super cool. How far have you had to travel to go get your Thundercat? And then I'll tell you my story on how far I had to travel to get one.
Distance wise to travel to get the thing is when I leave, I have a route, and so I pick up multiple sleds.
Interesting.
Sometimes I do go pick a single sled up, but it's pretty rare.
So tell us about this. Yeah, tell us about the route. What is this?
The last route, I left here. I went I-80 west to California. In fact, I was there just a couple days before the last earthquake out there offshore. Like 2 or 3 days.
Interesting.
And then I went straight up the coast, up the I-5, and I was going to stop and get a couple of other sleds. Didn't like a couple of sleds. Things didn't pan out on other ones. And then I went up to a gentleman that was literally almost to the Canadian border. Picked up a Thundercat there.
Wow.
That was the one that everybody saw the post of the piston broke in half, and the guy told me the pull rope was broken in half. Well, I found out why, because I couldn't even turn the crank.
Fair. Hey, we had a Thundercat kind of stuck like that, didn't we, Quinn? My dad's 93. I felt like I was going to break the rope when I tried to. You go into starting a Thundercat knowing, okay, you got to get your game face on. You're about ready to pull over a big bore sled, and when they're stuck, you're like, oh, that about broke my hand.
Yeah.
A lot like kicking a CR500.
Oh, yeah. You throw it all in there.
Yeah, you're ready to start this thing.
For sure. And then I just kind of roam all over. I'll be somewhere. I'll stay the night somewhere. I'll be all over this or that or looking. And, I try not to leave here and not come back completely full. Truck, trailer, whatever I'm pulling with me.
Yeah.
So,
what do you do full-time work? What is your day-to-day job, Kenny?
So during the winters, this is what I do just to stay busy.
Cool.
My primary is working on trailers. 29 years working on trailers.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I just do this to hang out, just feed the fuel for my passion during this winter,
How many Thundercats would you say you have owned? Not at one time, but maybe. I mean, I gotta know how many Thundercats has Kenny had, and how many Thundercats has Kenny parted out at? If you were to put a number on that, what would you say that was?
Rocky, through all these weeks, I knew this question would come up.
Perfect.
And I thought about this.
Okay.
And I still don't have an answer. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds.
Really?
Wow. Yes.
Oh my goodness, Kenny.
I have hundreds. Multiple hundreds.
Wow. How many do you have? Let's walk through your inventory. What do we got that is Thundercat related that you have right now that is for sale for people to be able to buy? I don't care if it's a ski, a windshield, a snow flap. What do you have? What would you say?
Lots.
Like are we talking storage unit, big stuff? Really?
I have a lot.
Kenny, and that is, I would say you're the Costco of Thundercats. If you need to buy something Thundercat related, you're gonna go to Kenny Neff. I've had to buy stuff. I've bought stuff from my M1000 from you. My dad's bought stuff from ZRT. The finger track I'm running right now on my ZRT 1000 out there came from you. I mean, there's controversy with the purists. And I know a lot of people are strong-willed. Oh, you can't part that thing out. How dare you?
I have a lot of enemies, for sure.
But in the long run, it's preserving the snowmobiles we have. So it's almost
I've
like
gotten better.
Yeah.
I've gotten better not parting every single one of them out.
Well, people are all seeing the value now, because before the value of a Thundercat was in the parts, not the whole sled, it seemed. Especially around here. They're starting to catch on, and people are starting to realize the value of a Thundercat. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you could pick up a Thundercat for cheap. Nobody wanted them. They're not practical. well, first you lost me at carburetor. Now you're saying you have 3 carburetors. I'm not into
Right.
it. It's heavy. Doesn't float at all. I mean, we don't. It's just a different style of riding. I've kind of gone over that, but anyway.
And I don't really deal with anybody local. I deal with everybody in the Midwest, East Coast, all over Canada, Finland, Sweden.
So, how do you ship when we go down that road, how do you get a snowmobile from Salt Lake City, Utah to upstate New York? What is that process? They call you, walk us through that.
I used to leave it up to the buyer. I've fortunately came across a guy that is local to me that runs the nation. He runs to the East Coast a lot. For instance, I've got 3 snowmobiles going Friday, 2 to New Hampshire, 1 to Pennsylvania. Gage Peterson has a sled going on that trip as well.
Okay.
And then I know that my shipper's going to pick a sled up out of New York, one that I know of so far, drop it back off to Michigan, and that sled's going to Finland.
Wow.
Across the pond, huh?
I've got a couple full sleds over there. I got sleds in Canada. With running across the guy that I know now, it's so nice. $800 sleds to the East Coast.
Whoa.
Yep. So it's awesome. He picks it up from me, and he's local, and then it's gone.
What is that? What's the lead time? Okay, I just bought my Thundercat from Kenny, let's say, and I'm in New York. When could I expect to have my sled available to me?
It all just depends. These were supposed to have left this week. My shipper's been down in the south playing in all the snow that we should have.
Down in Florida, dang it.
Yep, Florida.
You guys took some of our snow away, Florida.
Alabama, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sending me a video as he was out in the middle of the road, and it was over in somewhere down in the south, and he's ghost town. He says everyone's just looking at him, laughing at him.
I bet. That's funny.
He's loving it. So, but yeah, generally, my guys, it's been within 2 weeks, generally. So if you bought,
It's quick.
yeah,
That's really quick, actually, to make all the... Because I think I know who you're talking about, because I sold a ZR off Facebook, and it was a 94 ZR 700. I blew its engine, didn't run. I posted it online for cheap, probably too cheap, because it sold in literally 10 seconds. And I sold it for $600. The guy Venmo'd me, and he's like, I'm going to send my shipper out to you. And he's like, I'm going to give you a window of about 6 weeks, and you'll see him. Well, I'm like, yeah, the sled's fine. I'll just keep it in my garage. I won't put it out by the curb. So I kept it in my garage for him. And this guy, about a week before he arrived, he got a hold of me. And he's like, hey, and I cannot remember his name. I think it was Mike something. But
oh,
anyway,
you're talking one of those other guys that's been known for on the Thundercat page.
I don't know. No, it wasn't anybody that I knew specifically that bought the sled, because this was on Arctic Cat Trail Riders, that I think is what I posted the ZR on, and he had the hookup for a guy that would come over and pick it up, and the guy knew who Gage Peterson was, and Gage Peterson for a minute was my neighbor, so I when I gave him my address and he put it in, he's like, oh, I've been down the road from you several times. He's like, I go to your neighbor's house all the time to pick up stuff. Well, anyway, he rolls in, and I think it was a Tuesday night. He had a white Power Stroke, probably a 2012. It wasn't brand new, but his trailer was a triple axle, and I think that thing was 38 to 40 feet long. It was huge. He helped me wheel the sled across the street. We had he dropped the tailgate of that trailer, and he had a little bit of everything. I saw dirt bikes, I saw a golf cart, I saw a side-by-side clear up in the front. There was all sorts of stuff, and then the ZR shoeboxed right into the end, and he shut the door, and I haven't heard or seen or done from that guy since. So I was curious how you get a snowmobile from, and I don't know what the guy charged from it, because that wasn't on my end, but Anyway,
Perfect.
I was just curious. I don't know.
No, he's just local. He actually lives in Layton.
Wow.
So, yeah, and he's all over the place. He's got a 40-foot trailer. We've thrown a sled on top of his boxes in the back of his truck, whatever.
Wow, because that's going to be nice. Because me and Quinn have talked about doing snowmobile giveaways, and that was the holdup. I'm like, gosh, I think we know how to incentivize people to buy our merch and do the things to do this giveaway. Because I have some sleds that I would let go. I mean, they're all my babies, but there's a couple I would let go if the moment's right. But I'm like, how do I get it to them? How do I get the sled there, and how do I interact? And are they? But maybe this could be someone that we could reach out to and make that happen, possibly.
Yeah, it was crazy. I sold a Powder Extreme, and the buyer Ryan found the guy, and then since then, Fritz and I have been working pretty good together.
Would you say, speaking of Powder Extreme, I have one. I love Powder Extremes. They were more popular in the western states because they had the factory 136 on them, and they had a deeper lug, and they were more for mountains. But do you think that their collectability is growing or decreasing? I mean, it was a 2-year build for Arctic Cat. What's your take on the Powder Extreme since you brought that up?
It's well, they're a dime a dozen out here.
Yeah,
but they are.
Yeah,
they are backyard farm field ornaments.
Yeah.
If you find a nice one, people want a nice one. And it's like Thundercats. It's powder specials, extremes, just any of them.
Yeah.
As long as it's nice, that's what they want. It's going to be hard to sell a rundown Thundercat to a guy in the Midwest, East Coast to try to get anything, worth more than what the engine's worth.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and that's another great point is, are these sleds becoming so hard to find that we are running out of these sleds?
No.
You had an experience recently with quite a find that kind of stirred the internet a little bit. Maybe tell us about that.
So, 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night, and many people have contacted me about this.
Okay, good.
And once it came out that I had got it,
Got what? Tell us what it is.
Yeah, tell us everything. Get us down to the nitty gritty, Kenny.
Yeah, we got the 4-place enclosed trailer, the '99 Thundercat with 200 and I don't remember the mileage on it.
It was low, 250, I think, with 256.
252, maybe, whatever.
252. Yep.
Then we got had the 01 Mountain Cat LE in it with 56 miles on it. The Powder Special with 400 and whatever it was on it.
Was that a 6 or a 700?
700.
Really? Okay.
Yep, and the Pearl White Hood. And then there was the 98 Thundercat, the full Cutler built sled. I mean, there was only a couple things that was factory on it. So it was a Saturday night. I was asleep early. My boy, right back here, he was awake and friends with my friend, and my friend started blowing my phone up, and I didn't know about it. Ringer's off. I'm night. So he started texting me and blowing my phone up too. I still didn't know. 1:30 in the morning, I roll over and my phone's just obliterated, and I'm like, okay.
What happened here?
Phone calls, yeah, text.
What's going on?
So I opened it up and started looking, and then I sent the kid, I should say, he's quite young, a text, and then we started talking about 6:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, and then he says, "Yeah, come down at 1 in the afternoon." I'm like, "Perfect. Give me enough time during the day. I can whatever."
Where were they located? How close to you? Were they in Salt Lake area or somewhere else?
1 hour south of me.
Oh my!
Yeah.
A barn find in your backyard.
Yeah, literally, they come out of a barn, trailer and all.
I saw the pictures. There was some thick dust on them.
Yes.
But you could tell that it was like, oh, that's
Time capsule.
dust.
That was a time capsule. And you guys are all familiar. You guys all seen it. If anybody was into Thundercats or anything like that, that thing was floating around. I got tagged on it like twice or 3 times for people.
You did get tagged.
And I knew that Kenny was going to be into it too. So I was like, I just felt like it was going to be a little bit out of my budget. But anyway, we'll get into that.
So it was floating around, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, there's a $15,000 to $20,000 package," and I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." And my buddy bought it for me. I was asleep.
Really?
Yeah, he says, "Oh, he'll buy it. Don't worry about it. He'll come buy it." Okay.
Oh my heck. He just spent a lot of money while you were asleep.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Get down there and whatever else. Went through everything, looking at everything. Grandma was really awesome. The grandson is the one that posted it. He was really cool. My buddy that was that did all this put me in the middle of in contact. He was there, and then I can't remember the kid's name right off, but his uncle was sitting there as well. We all just kind of hung out, talking stuff, sharing stories, flopping stories and stuff, and then I just asked them, what's the best they're going to do on it. They shot me a price, and I already had it in mind. I was done deal no matter what, but it was done.
Perfect.
Deal.
So this was 2 weeks ago.
Correct. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Or 2 weeks ago today. 2
weeks ago today. So he buys the time capsule. 2 weeks from today, where are we at with all of it? So he had the 99 Thundercat, 250 something miles. You had the Mountain Cat 800, the limited, with 50 miles. You had the Powder Special 700 with 450 miles. And then there was the mod sled.
Yes.
And that thing looked like there was nothing stock on it at all.
There's not.
The seat was incredible. Cutler Performance build, right?
Yes. I did talk to Dale.
And it had D&D pipes.
Correct.
So it was the good one.
Yeah. I did ask Dale, and I've asked Dale multiple names, and he can tell me right off the story behind the sled, whatever, and he didn't remember this one. And this one came from his shop. I know it did.
Yeah, it looked right up his alley.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 99, a couple of people knew I'd had it. I tossed the idea of a waffle around for it. Another thing is a waffle, Facebook, legal part of it, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I've never heard that.
So, yeah, I've heard of I haven't been a part of one yet, but tell us what a waffle is.
So it's the keywords and algorithm. Facebook can't pick it up or whatever else. But here's the thing: there's other ways around it. I started a waffle right here for this Fire Puffs box right here, and you guys start wanting to buy into it or whatever else. I'm sending you an emoji. You just bought an emoji. Now you can just tell me the number you want for it. Now it's not a raffle. It's not a waffle. It's a legitimate thing. You bought a, and then this is going to be the prize at the end that I just give away to anybody.
That's interesting.
So where are we at? The 99.
Yeah. So where's the 99 at right now?
The 99 is in my storage shed. That a few people knew about it, that I had it, and I had it tossed around doing a waffle with it. I made one text to one person. He'll see this, I'm sure. He'll laugh.
Perfect. We want all of our friends to watch in on this,
right?
For sure.
So, anyways, he and I sat and talked back and forth text, and then he'd called me. Okay, so let me back up. I go pick the sled, or I go Sunday, make the deal. I couldn't pull it home because the tires were just trashed on the trailer. So I needed to come home, get tires, go back down, and then I could pull it home. So Monday night came around, and I was really didn't know what to do. I was going to do with everything, but so I made this text. I looked at my wife and I said, "Hey, I'm going to text one person, see what he says." So we text back and forth, and we got on the phone and started talking, and then we made the deal. And then so then I posted the Powder Special and the Mountain Cat, and the Mountain Cat sold locally to actually another buddy of mine that I ride with.
Oh, good. Because that's a good sled.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's going to last somebody for a long time. That's a cool sled.
They didn't reveal that it had hit a tree.
Yeah, that's right. You did mention that the 01 Limited got bumped. It wasn't like a total wreck, but you could tell there was an A-arm or something that was kind of dented or something.
A-arm, to make it perfect, it would be lower A-arm, left belly pan, and as soon as they get it pulled apart, we'll find out whatever else there is. I mean, some of the stickers are scuffed.
Yeah, make sure the bulkhead's intact and stuff. Yeah,
it didn't hit it hard enough. So a buddy bought that one. The Powder Special, it's going to... Powder Special is going to Pennsylvania. My mind just went completely blank.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Pennsylvania.
So the 99 Thundercat's going to New Hampshire, and then it's going to venture from there to its final home. The other 99 Thundercat that I was going to waffle off as well, it sold before I could do anything about it. Told one person and it sold. So those two are going together. The Powder Special is going to Pennsylvania, and then the 01 is local here.
Cool. Okay.
So, and then the 98's sitting at my house now. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do with it.
I hope I get to ride that one day, Kenny, if I'm going to be completely honest. I hope that sled is available for me to rip on one day.
I almost threw it in the trailer for today.
That would have been cool.
Just so you can see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, 'cause it's an original mod sled from back in the 90s, for sure. Somebody's like, I'll take that Thundercat. It's getting dropped off at this high performance shop, and when I get it, it's going to be amazing.
It was around, I think it was right around, I think they were right around, depending on the engine and whatever else, I think they were between 20 and 30 grand to build.
Wow. Back then.
Right.
I remember that. I remember seeing those, at least PSI would come out with their catalogs, and they would have all those anodized, crazy looking heads and different things, and some of those engine packages were $7,000-$10,000 for these engine packages, and Cutler was a specific. I don't think they dealt with anybody but Arctic Cat, and they, if I remember right, but anyway, they just seemed they were a mile deep into Arctic Cat, and they were really making big horsepower out of those triples for sure.
Dale's a good dude. He really is. He's going to have my 858 in, I think, about 3 weeks. He'll have it. He's going to do some clutching to it for me. He's just not comfortable. He wants to, get that clutching fine-tuned for the sled, and then, being my way. He said, he's like, Kenny, you being as big as you are, I just got to, tweak it a little bit.
That's awesome.
That was the first thing I said when you rolled up there. I was like, Kenny, you're tall, dude.
Kenny's a tall dude, man. He is. How tall are you, Kenny? 6'5"?
I'm 6'6".
Dang. Oh, man.
Yeah.
6'6". That's awesome.
Your son's not much shorter.
Kyson's right there and probably weighs half of me now, though. What do you weigh?
160? 150, 160?
Well, a lot. Yeah, definitely not. I'm not that heavy. I'm about 270 now.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's been incredible to have you up here, Kenny. Rocky's been talking about, Quinn, you got to meet Kenny one day, and that's been cool.
Yeah, I've known about Kenny. I think we've been, gosh, it's got to be close to 10 years. Eight years probably I've known Kenny, and like I said, I've stopped by his house. I've picked up some parts over the years from me and my dad. He keeps my sleds going, and what he has going is a positive thing in my opinion. I know if I needed something specific for my Thundercat, that at least there's some parts available still, and Kenny's probably got them, and they're relatively close to me. So
right,
it's awesome.
I enjoy it. I meet a lot of people, talk to a ton of people. I've met a ton of people across the nation. I go to Michigan every November. I didn't go this last year, but that's been fun doing that, meeting people face to face. A lot of people don't show their face,
sure,
for obvious reasons, but no, and people have definitely taken me the wrong way. I'm here to supply them, here to have a good time. At the end of the day, we're all about snowmobiles.
Oh yeah.
People get mad at me, they start talking crap on me, and I do it right back, fire back, and then it snowballs downhill from there.
So, Kenny, I gotta ask.
Uh-oh.
There was a burn barrel.
The burn barrel.
What?
That's how I introduced you.
I don't think Don knows about the burn barrel, and I know Quinn don't.
Well, Rocky's mentioned it, but that was the first thing I told my dad about you, by the way.
There was some people that were trying to undercut you in price or something, if I remember right. But
well, I'll tell you.
they just weren't. They weren't respecting, I guess, for the high quality stuff you had. Anyway,
Well,
take us down that road.
So, in fact, it gets brought up all the time. In fact, I was texting a guy this morning right around 6:30 our time, and yes, the burn barrel was brought up.
It really happened. You really did burn stuff.
Yeah, and I pissed a lot of people off.
Kenny, that's awesome.
What'd you stoke that barrel with? It's like, by the way, we're up here in a warming hut, and I'm reading the thermometer right now. It's like 80, almost 85 degrees. This wood burning stove's cooking. Was it like this hot when you threw some stuff in?
Had lots of colors too. So we're in Michigan. Gordon Richards. I know you've heard Gordon Richards' name.
Gordon Richards, yeah.
Another fellow. We won't mention his name because we'll talk about
Sure.
microphone about.
Yeah, you bet.
So
record.
we're out in the out at the A1 swap meet that I was going to every November.
Okay.
And Gordon Richards there, and Gordon's a cool cat. He's a hell of a cat.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
So we're sitting there, and a old guy comes by. He was older, very short.
Okay.
I just remember him, dark sweats, dark shirt. The weather was pretty decent, and he wanted some side pans, some side bellies for 99 plus Thundercat.
Got it.
And I had quite a few there, and there was quite a few other people that wanted them, but so you go to a swap meet. People think they're just going to get everything for nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Or damn near close.
Yeah.
But if you got something nice, they just don't want to pay for it. I mean, it's a swap meet thing. It is what it is.
I've experienced it too, Kenny. I mean, I've flipped sleds, and people, it's almost like they don't really understand how these parts came about. I mean, you said that you go on tour to go pick up these sleds on your route. That's not free. Your time ain't free.
They don't understand that.
So anyway, that's something that people just are ignorant to, I guess.
Right. So that day, guy was coming around just wanting them for cheap. We're talking dirt cheap too. It was crazy at dirt cheap, and everybody was that way. Windshields, you name it, that's what it was. So it just went on and on and on. It was one thing after another, and I turned to the other guy and said, "You know what, man? I'm so fed up. I'm so fed up with all this BS and this and this. Everybody wants everything for cheap. I'm 24 hours from home,
right.
Blah, blah, blah." So we went back, and I started drinking some more, and I'm like, let's make this interesting. And I will, for the record, say I did not light the flame.
Okay.
My idea, let's make the party happen.
Okay.
My parts.
Where did the barrel come from?
It was behind the shop.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
So we lit that up, and it got hot. We just started shoving more, and there's multiple times within a week. Oh, the burn barrel. I'm thinking to myself, man, okay, I'm over this by now.
Sure.
But well, whatever. I'll play along.
Yeah.
I do have a set of green pans, and I did say I'd throw a set of green pans, 99 plus green pans in a burn barrel, and I still want to do it. We live in the desert.
Right.
We can burn anything.
Dang right, man.
So, I don't know. Will it happen? I don't know. When it'll happen, I have no idea. I guess today how much shit going anymore, so.
No, it's one of those things that I think it brought awareness probably more than anything of hey, if you're in need of these parts and stuff, you gotta understand where they came from and what they are, because it's not like we went to Walmart and just picked these up. They were across the country, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of investment. So
another thing people don't realize, is I don't care. I'll burn it. I don't care. You know, oh, yeah, this, that. I mean, garbage can, landfill posts and stuff. I mean, I had stuff, and people are, oh, you just throw a fit. I'm like, I don't throw a fit. I'm just tired of kicking the shit and looking at it and throwing it, tossing around, moving it, storing it, whatever.
Yeah, that's a thing too, to store it.
It's going.
Yeah,
it's going. Sure. Bye-bye.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's the thing. It's like, it's effort to sell it as well, if you're packaging and shipping and everything else that goes with it. So it's like, if I'm not going to make anything off of it, why spend all the time to package it and make it a deal?
Brings a great point up. Guys will call me for little things. I will not sell something unless there's $100 bill involved. I don't care how big it is, how small it is. By the time I have to package it, rummage through all my boxes and packaging and this, sit down, get your address and everything, and then deal with PayPal or Venmo or this. Man, I'm into this way too long already. If there's not at least $100 bill,
yeah,
I won't deal with you.
And I will say too, Kenny, you are fair with your prices. Like I said, I have bought a gas tank for my M1000 that was under $200. There was a lot of people wanting $300. It didn't have, my filler net cracked. Kenny had a nice one that was not repaired. It was in good working order.
I just took care of him,
and that was awesome. My finger track's in good shape. I mean, that thing didn't even have a missing lug, you know, and you were fair with me on that. And so what I'm saying is I feel your prices are fair. I mean, I don't want it for free, but I also know what I'm buying, so I'm willing to get it.
Great point. So. I get it all the time. Man, you set the bar. You set the bar on this Thundercat stuff. You set the bar here. You do this. And I heard it multiple times this last week. You know, and geographical areas, you know, you go to New York, you go to Michigan, you go to Wisconsin, you come to Utah, you go to California. All of our snowmobiles are completely different. You could have the apple for apple sled, but the condition from a 99 to today's date in all those areas, that's where, you know, the value of a snowmobile or a part or whatever deciphers itself.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, here we have fresh snow. There's not an ounce of salt out there.
Yeah.
All the guys, Midwest, East Coast, wherever, all their stuff is so rusted out and corroded and so many problems, so many issues.
Yep.
You know, when they say ditch banging, they're not lying. That's what they do. You know, we just mogul bang here. We just get beat to crap on the narrow trail.
The trail was a little rough this morning.
Yeah. But, you know, so I try to be fair. There's items that I do have and have sold a little higher just because go find it somewhere else.
That's what I always say when I'm trying to sell something that I've only seen one of.
Yeah.
I get you know, I get comments from people, and it's just they just don't understand, you know.
Sure.
And one thing I cherish, and anybody that knows me, is I cringe if anybody knees on one of my original seats. Because they're hard to they aren't hard to get. Sometimes they're impossible to get. And the fact that they say Arctic Cat on them and they just look nice and everything, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm kind of weird about that, but that's a thing for me.
For sure. You know, and people that are around me enough, friends and neighbors, they know when they walk into my garage or they walk into my storage, you don't even look at it. I don't want your eyes scratching it. Don't touch it. Don't breathe on it. Don't ooh and goo. Just stay outside the door. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the same boat. I mean, there's...
like your Thundercat hood out there is incredible.
That's in really good shape. That one's in really good shape. Hey, I do have an NOS one.
Perfect. That's awesome.
But, you know, it's just... a lot of people, and I've had shippers. I shipped a sled back to New Hampshire a couple of months ago. I specifically told the guy after I pulled this, before I even started this, and I had a witness standing there. I'm like, watch this. Watch what happens here. He's like, okay. So I told the dude, the shipper guy, I said, I'm going to pull the snowmobile on here, and you're going to listen to me. You do not touch this thing. I kid you not. I pulled the snowmobile on there, and I didn't send the title or anything with him. I told him, I said, I'm gonna send it in the mail, so it's separate. I don't know you, whatever else. This is not my deal, anyways.
Fair.
And so I told the dude, I said, I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm gonna tie this thing down, and you're not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
I said, the next thing is we're gonna leave the key in it in the on position, and don't touch it. I pulled the snowmobile into the trailer. I said, all right, where's all your straps? So it's a 2000 LE, 1,100 miles, something like that.
So it's lime green.
Yeah.
The limited. Okay.
Beautiful sled.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, the guy's like, oh, just throw the strap over the seat. And I'm like,
Yep.
there's strike one.
Yeah, that is strike one.
I said, no, I'm going to strap this down and you're not going to touch it. So the next thing is he walks over and grabs the key out of the ignition. I said, okay, I told you to leave it there. Now it's not lost. No one has to track you down for the key. Just leave it. Well, no, I said, strike two. We get it all tied down and everything. He's like, okay, where's all the paperwork? I'm like, it's not going with you. Yeah. I'm sending it in the mail. Yeah. Strike three.
Yeah.
I stressed so bad that sled. That poor guy, Kyle Farmer's buddy, I can't remember who was about it, but that poor guy, I was stressed for him. I was sweating bullets the whole trip and went there.
In all disclosure, it was perfect when it left my fingers, and I was really, really stressing the importance of not hurting it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I tell everybody, just insure it as well, no matter what, for whatever value. You don't know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
How do you ship a sled to Finland? What's that look like?
I just have to get it to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then there's a guy there that packs all the shipping containers. He'll stack them, he'll create them, whatever he does in there. There's cars, sleds, motorcycles. There's this, all that stuff.
Gosh.
And I think it's around.
I can't even imagine what that would cost to ship a sled across the
whole container. I think is right around $2,500. The last I heard.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
that's reasonable. Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you're packing it full of, I don't know, there's 15 sleds.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a 45-footer.
Yeah.
Or no, you're getting a 53-footer.
Yeah.
45, 50. I don't know what they are.
Sure, the cargo size or whatever it is. Yeah.
But then they're stacking cars and sleds and I mean, you can only imagine that thing is pretty packed tight.
For sure. That's crazy, man.
So
I don't know. Yeah, it's funny how we cross paths. It's funny how that the snowmobiling community is, I feel, as strong as ever. I think there's a lot of people that are diehard about the sport still, for sure.
You've said it multiple times today, though, and it's a very, very valid point. At the end of the day, we're only here to ride sleds. It doesn't matter if you're riding Yamaha, Polaris, Cat. It doesn't matter, As long as we all got off the mountain safe, we all had a good time, we can slap high fives and go home to our families.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I rode a Mountain Max today, and I didn't know if I was going to make it up the hill where I was at. I kind of got off track a little, and I'm like, tree or roll, or am I really going to carve this thing? And luckily it carved out of it, but it was pretty fun. It's fun seeing what other people are excited about, for sure. And Kenny, you have an 858, man. You bought one. You threw down the money and you bought an 858. So not only is it Kenny T-Cap, but this guy also he sports the sport also with the brand new stuff. So my hat's off to you with that. So awesome.
I had some serious buyer's remorse, and then I went and rode it for the first time, and I'm like, this is the best purchase ever.
Kenny was nice enough to let me rip on it, and it's something else. Like, they're fast, they're light, they're effortless, and what I have to do to get that big old Thundercat up there, the sled's like, give me more. Is this all you got?
Right.
This ain't no deep powder.
My next question was how'd you like that?
Oh man, I loved it. The Garmin gauge is something to get used to. It seemed like it was a little delayed to fire up almost. It was kind of interesting when I started it, but and it kind of boots up and everything. But I think I could get used to it. I like the information it had about the sled. The The speedometer was easy to read. All the temperature of the motor, the temperature of the exhaust was on there.
I put that on, yeah.
It had a lot of knowledge. You know, it told you about what was going on with the snowmobile, and I could appreciate that. The Garmin thing, and we've talked about this. I feel like Onyx is a little better. I think it's more sophisticated, but I think Garmin could probably get there if they end up going down that road. I mean, it's the first year. I mean, they always have some bugs that they can work out, but overall the sled felt sound, had a lot of torque. This was the 165,
correct,
3-inch lug, and it pulled. It had plenty of torque to do the job. It felt like if you were in 3 feet of powder, it's like, give me more. That's what I felt.
I haven't even ridden it today, other than the one time, getting him off the side of that hill there, but I haven't even ridden it.
Yeah, it was cool. And then, so Kenny, you brought your T-Cat up here, and you brought the 858, and I had the ZRT. I had the ZRT 1000 with the Thundercat motor. Don, the short track ZR, the 96 ZR short track. We're talking the 121. Thankfully, it had a 2-inch paddle on it.
Snow cross sled.
We took that sled up some stuff today, Don.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see him struggle. I didn't see him struggle today.
I didn't either. Don didn't get close to getting stuck.
Because he's so light.
That's it. It's because I'm petite.
That's how I feel. I feel like that because I'm such a petite guy that it just goes.
Same.
He can relate.
Yeah. Quinn, on the other hand, that guy, he really knows how to dig them in.
Did you ride the 858?
I did, yeah. I jumped on Brody's. It's totally different from my Alpha.
Is it?
I ride a 19 turboed Alpha, and one thing that I've always loved about Polaris is they feel stable. When I'm just kind of cruising across the side hill on the Alpha, I always feel like I have to get on the edge. It just wants to tip over. And the Catalyst felt like a Polaris, but playful like a Skidoo. It was just the weirdest. It was awesome. I loved it. It just felt more comfortable and stable, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You look natural on it. I mean, you've ridden a lot of Alphas. I haven't. Like, this is still a learning curve for me, but for
Night.
All done.
We'll finish it right here, Rock. All right, our podcast died.
ran out of batteries.
Hope the video's still
It's
going.
weird up here at 9,000 feet elevation in a warming hut.
Right.
You can't just plug it back in.
Here, is it rolling?
Yeah, she's rolling.
Sweet.
We're 52 minutes in, so this will be perfect.
Sweet.
All right, guys. So the batteries died in the controller right there that ran our headphones and our microphone So, yeah, the Alpha is an acquired taste. I think it's something to get used to, but you can get used to it. The little bit I rode Quinn's Alpha turboed, a little bit I've ridden the 858. I feel like if I had a good weekend on it, I think I would improve a lot because I'm used to having to horse a snowmobile around. I ride Thundercats, I ride M1000s, I ride the heavy stuff. That sled said, okay, let's be finesse. You don't have to throw your whole world into this to make it respond. Just lean a little and it'll cooperate. And when you're in a wheelie, you're literally turning with your feet. Just shift your weight a little bit. If you want to go left, put a little more weight on your left foot and it'll do it. And it does it really effortlessly. So that's something to be appreciated for sure.
Yeah, we had some awesome sleds up here. My dad, I'm going to go back to the kneeing in the seat thing.
Okay.
I swear when my dad taught me how to ride snowmobiles, it was put your knee on the seat.
Oh, it's a thing.
You had to.
Oh, that's how you rode those sleds. Yeah, you bet.
You had to grab bar and you pulled.
Yeah, there was no leverage. Yeah, there's no leverage at all. So
Yeah.
that's how we all grew up riding.
My dad got me into snowmobiling, and I've talked about him before on the podcast. He would always, every time we went snowmobiling, it was $100, and we'd have to stop in and get belts, and I always felt kind of bad. I was like, ooh, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go snowmobiling, but and it's been a long time since we got up into the hills. How long has it been?
I don't want to say how long it's been.
What, 5 years?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So we put him on the best sled here, the ZR 580.
Yeah, for sure. We just felt like it was a more natural fit, and that it would do the
You know what?
job.
I was right at home.
Yeah.
It was just like 25 years ago.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Love it.
But yeah, my dad always taught me, put your knee in the seat. And then when I went riding with Rocky, the first time we ever went riding, I put my knee in Rocky's seat. And
Shame.
yeah, instantly Rocky's like, hey, no putting your knee on the seat. I'm like, that's how he taught me how to ride these things, you know?
You're like, wait a minute, how am I going to
Yeah.
drive it?
Yeah, not only will Rocky correct me, but this last weekend we had Cletus McFarlane ride,
Which
Rocky's
is a super cool
Thundercat.
guy, by the way. Like
Yeah.
that guy was incredible. He was cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. We got a lot of heat in the comments about that video.
People-
Showing up to Snowden, whatever. It was awesome, and if you couldn't tell by their faces, they were welcoming. They were happy to have us.
Robbie Layton was super friendly. Shook our hand. The Edwin from Grind Hard Plumbing,
Yep.
super cool guy. I mean, he didn't treat us any different. He wasn't like, "What are you doing here?" type of vibe.
Right.
Those guys were all cool, and I respect what they're doing. Don't kid yourself. We weren't wanting to go crash the party. We weren't wanting to get into the nitty-gritty. We ride in that area every weekend.
Yeah.
It was going to happen whether they were there or not. I just wanted to see a Thundercat next to that Black Hawk helicopter. That's all I cared about, and everything else was bonus. So
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, when you show up to places like that and you got the shiny and you got the metallic and you got the current, the alpha, whatever it is, where do people gravitate to? The ZR 580.
Yeah.
With a 121 track and a guy that's more than 200 riding it.
You got it.
Yeah, we pulled up to Snowden. We were just trying to get a thumbnail in front of Dave Sparks' Black Hawk. Rocky's putting on his show face, and I mean a dude that is like a giraffe. They always talk about his neck being long, be like a giraffe.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't mistake the guy. Cletus McFarlane rolls up
On a snow bike.
on a snow bike. He had his helmet on, but I was like, Rocky, that's Cletus. So you
And
saw.
I recognized it too, and I'm like, "What up, Cletus?"
Yeah,
and
we
he's like,
went
"Hey,
over there.
brother."
We go over there, we talk to him just for a second. We were like, we don't want to intrude on anyone's.
Yeah.
We didn't have any bad intentions. Anyways, we met him for a second. We went back over to do our thing, and then a couple seconds later, Cletus was like, "Is that a Thundercat?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're like, "Yeah."
He's like, "I haven't seen one of them since 2001."
"Yeah." So he came over and he's like, "Can I ride?" We're like,
He's like, "Do you mind if I rip on that thing?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Of course."
So the first
Just
thing,
don't put your knee on it.
that's the first thing he does. He throws his knee right in Rocky's
Oh my
OEM pristine leather
40-year-old seat.
Like, oh,
and
like Cletus, man, this thing's old. Don't tear the seat. He's like, "Oh, I understand. It's vintage." Anyway, it was really respectful. Hey, man, it was awesome. He ripped on it, and it all happened. So it was
cool. Well, I think that's a wrap on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a little darky outside.
We're not snowed in yet, and we've got a bumpy trail out of here. We do have one last little thing. We have a little gift to leave the warming hut here. So pull it out, Rocco.
So
You gonna leave a cake here?
Dawn and I thought this was a cake, but it's not. But this is a red ZRT clock.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my heck.
So that's super cool. I think we're gonna leave that up here, and just remember that how awesome old school Arctic Cats are. And we're gonna donate this to this awesome warming hub so people can cherish the red ZRT clock.
Even have
That's
a battery, but we'll just leave it how it is. It's always time to ride on that thing, right?
Yep, perfect. Okay, that's a wrap. Catch you guys on the next one.